Hey, yeah, Kacy from Masterofnone1963 here. How are you? I hope you're having a great day where you are. It's not a bad day where I am, that's for sure. Tell you what I'm busy doing. I'm doing a bit of exploring at the minute. There's a very interesting old building I want to go through. But before I do that, I thought I'd like to introduce my channel. My channel is Masterofnone1963, and you'll see across the bottom here how to get to it. Maybe a little QR code for you to follow if you want to get to the channel. Now, why am I introducing my channel? Well, for a couple of reasons. First of all, I do a variety of videos. Some of them are quite silly videos, some of them are more serious videos. I've done videos like how to make a hamburger. I've done a video on how to build a studio, which you'll get to see when you go on the channel. Also, I'm busy in the minute currently doing interviews with people, just ordinary interviews, and interviews with a Caribbean calf in a place called Hadley in England. Now, what I wanted to introduce particularly was a thing called Challenge, a series I want to start called Challenge. I call it Challenge because it's to do with disabled people. Now, you can't probably tell from where you are, but I'm a disabled person, and I had a stroke in 2010, and I left my right side paralyzed. Now, it gave me all sorts of problems and challenges, and one of those, to get over one of them, was to start doing YouTube, which is why I done this. But I thought about it, and I thought, you know, are there other people out there like me who also are challenged and have come up with unique ways, or even cleverer ways than me, to cope with their situation? So that's the interviews. The interviews is to interview people who have done things, haven't just sat down and said, that's over for me. They've actually done something about their lives. And there's a lot of people out there. There's a lot of people. So whether you're a friend of a disabled person, whether you're a relative of a disabled person, whether you're a carer for a disabled person or the disabled person yourself, there's an opportunity if you come on this channel and have an interview with me, 10-15 minutes, tell me your story, how you got to where you got, so on, and of course the experiences that you had. And maybe, just maybe, someone else who's watching is going to go, wow, you know what, that's a brilliant idea. I think I'm going to try that. It's going to help me a great deal. That's the idea, to help everyone, okay? So what's the interview going to look like? Well, I'll tell you what, the very first interview of Challenged is going to be me. I'm going to interview myself. So you'll get a vague idea, at least, of what the video interviews will look like. Now, I'm going to go off to that building and explore that building. But for you, why don't you pop over to the studio and see how an interview would be conducted on Challenged. How's it, man? Kacy from Masterofnone1963 here. Now, remember I said in the introduction I would do an interview, my very first interview for Challenge, which would be me. I'd interview myself. Just to let you know a bit about my channel, obviously my channel has a variety of videos on. Some are for fun, some are just plain videos. There's a couple I've done, for instance, one about how to make a burger called Simple Burger, and of course I'll be doing one about the Caribbean calf. That's actually in Hadley in England, if you're watching this video elsewhere. A very nice couple, charitable work, etc. So I'll be doing an interview with them, not for Challenge, but just interviews, which I do as well. But I'm kind of concentrating on Challenged videos at the minute, because I'm trying to get people who are disabled like myself involved, so that they can share how they cope, what kind of things they come up with to cope, what kind of things they do, and maybe someone else can benefit from those videos. Now, so let's get started with the idea of the interview. As I say, I'm interviewing myself, but of course I look a bit different now, don't I? So just to make sure that you can see the difference between who's been interviewed and who isn't, so we'll get started now on the very first ever interview for Challenged. So I'd like to welcome Kacy to our first ever interview for Challenged. Thanks very much for the invite. Could you tell me a little bit about yourself and your condition? A little bit about myself. Well, okay, my name's Kacy. I run the channel Masterofnone1963. I'm a 61-year-old man. I had a stroke when in 2010, which left me partly paralyzed on my right hand side, and yeah, so that's basically it really. It's not much else to say. What have been, some of the challenges you've had to face? What kind of things have you had to face? What are my challenges? What have been my challenges? Well, okay, my first challenge was learning to walk again. Obviously not being able to walk initially. It took me about 3 years to get back on my feet. It took me a number of years after that to get used to, for instance, writing with my left hand when I used to use my right hand only. Some of my biggest challenges has been medical. For instance, I've developed leg spasms, which have created a tremendous amount of pain. And they finally got to grips with that and give me the right medication, but it has taken years and years to come right. Yeah, so those have been some of the challenges I've had to get over with. So what kind of things have you found that have helped you to cope, so get through things? So what kind of things have helped me cope? Well, that's an interesting question. I'd start off by saying my family. My wife was very good, very supportive, both my children as well. But I've also had friends as well who supported me and helped me to get on with what I'm doing now. Some of the things that I've done though is to try and occupy myself instead of just dwelling on my situation. I've deliberately tried to get involved in things that would work with me, that would help me to overcome my problems. I suppose initially I really concentrated really hard on trying to get back to what I was, but eventually I had to realize that was never going to happen. So I had to re-evaluate my situation, and that's when I got into YouTube, and I just started making videos up and doing various things. Some of my videos, not anything special, and most of them are just for fun. But recently, of course, I wanted to work hard on this channel, Challenged. And I call it Challenged because I think whether you're disabled or not, we all face challenges, no matter who we are. And some of those challenges might be you work with the disabled people, or you have a relative who's a disabled person, or you yourself are disabled. In which case, what helps you cope? What helps you get through the day? What things have you found that works? So those are the kind of things that I'm hoping to do in my little interviews on Challenge. And so what kind of things have you been doing? What kind of things have you just been sitting around and then started the channel, or what have you been doing? So what kind of things I've been doing? Well, initially I wrote a couple of books. Wow, amazing. And I'm sure you'll see them across the bottom here. One of them was how to do public speaking on YouTube and other places. Another one is how to explain the Trinity. That comes with videos as well as it opens. Those two are published on Amazon, and again, the links will be on the bottom there if you're interested in reading any of those books. I did do one book which was like a child's book, but it was really just a tester to see how it would work, and it's called Baba Sheep Go to Sleep. I don't even know if you can still find it on Amazon or not. So that's some of the things I've been doing. The other things I've been doing is obviously volunteer work, helping others. I got involved with doing videos for other people as well, or helping other people with their videos as well as my own, and which has finally led me to what I'm doing now. Wow, that actually seems like quite a lot of things, haven't you? Yeah, I suppose it is quite a bit. I haven't thought of it as that. I just got on with it. But I found if you occupy yourself, if you keep yourself occupied instead of just worrying about your own condition, it's going to make life better for yourself, and you tend to think less about what's going on in your own life. Well, I'm sure I can say this, that everyone wishes you all the best, and at the bottom of the screen there will be some information for your books and things like that, and some of the things that we've been doing. And while we're on the subject, if you want to hit the subscribe button and that sort of thing, or the like button or that sort of thing, all of it helps, doesn't it? You just remember that even the great pyramids of Egypt all started with one block. Remember that. So Kacy, just before we conclude, any words of advice you can give our audience? Thank you. Yeah, it'd be nice for people to get involved, to help with the videos, and is more the merrier, I think. And it's just, it gives us an opportunity to share what we know and our knowledge with others people. And it's like you said, of course, even the great pyramids of Egypt all started just with one block. So yeah, let's do what we can. Words of advice I can give to audience. Interesting question. Well, I suppose I'd advise you not to dwell too much on what you lost. Don't dwell on that, because to be honest with you, it's gone. It's over and done with. Better to dwell on what you can do in the future, and see if you can find something that interests you. You can make it in a hobby or help other people to help do what they're doing, like what I'm doing with YouTube. I mean, not everyone can do YouTube, not everyone wants to do YouTube, but there's certainly other things we can do. The other advice I can give you is make sure, if you go anywhere on holiday, for instance, and you book a hotel, that you check, double check and triple check that the accessible room that they have is accessible. Okay, right, fair enough. So that's the first ever interview for Challenged. And if there's anything you can take away for yourself, maybe, do you want to become involved by sharing your experience, how you've come to overcome your situation that may help someone else? You may find it even helps you to finally have a say. Or maybe you've been thinking about this idea and you thought, look, I'd love to share this with people. Why don't, but how do I do it? So this is the way you can do it. Please remember that people often call those with difficulty as disabled, but really, the truth is, we all have difficulties, whether you're mentally having problems with mental situation, or your physical situation, or maybe just a normal person with no difficulties, physical difficulties at all, but you will find you have some challenges. Whatever challenges you have to deal with. And remember, if we share that on these interviews, it's going to help others, encourage others. Maybe they something they never thought about doing before. Now's their opportunity. So thanks again to Kacy for our little chat. Okay, thanks very much for interviewing me, and I hope what I've had to say has been encouraging and helping to others as well. And of course, I just finish off by saying to people, please, if you can, get involved with these interviews, because they'll certainly help others. You just don't know what you may have learned to cope with. You may say, well, I did this to cope with, and someone's gonna, I never knew I could do that, or I never thought of doing that, and you would have helped them and given them an opportunity. So thanks very much for interviewing me. So I say to your audience, bye-bye. That's great. So if you want to get involved, follow the QR code at the bottom of the video, and who knows, you could be our very next interviewee. But till we then, have a great day. Bye for now. Bye.